Hey everyone, and welcome. We're about to take a deep dive into the animal kingdom. Now, this is a world you think you know, full of creatures that run and fly and swim, but it's also hiding a pretty massive secret that might just flip the way you see life on Earth completely upside down.
So let's start with what seems like a really simple question. What actually makes an animal an animal? Sounds easy, right? I mean, we all know one when we see one. Or do we? It turns out the official rules for joining this exclusive club are way more specific and honestly a little stranger than you might think.
I mean, look at this. A cheetah. That's an animal, 100%, no question. It's fast, it's powerful, it's active. But then, what about a sea sponge? It just kind of sits there. Honestly, it looks more like a weird plant. And yet scientists are telling us it's just as much of an animal as the cheetah is. So, what gives? What is the connection?
Okay, to figure this puzzle out, we have to look at the official checklist. What are the absolute, non-negotiable traits that every single member of the animal kingdom has to have to get in the door? And here it is. This is the big one, the absolute core of it all. See, unlike plants that can just make their own food from sunlight, which is amazing, by the way, animals are all consumers. They have to eat to live. It doesn't matter if it's a lion chasing down a zebra or a sponge just filtering tiny little particles out of the water. They are both getting their energy by consuming other organisms. So yeah, all animals share these fundamental things. Their bodies are made of many cells, they all have to eat, they all need oxygen. But there are two traits here that really define the whole animal experience: the ability to move and the ability to sense the world around you. Movement is probably the most obvious animal trait, right? It's how they find food, it's how they escape being food, and it's how they find a partner. A cheetah's sprint is a perfect, explosive example of this. But even a barnacle, which spends its entire adult life literally glued to a rock, had a moment in the sun. It started life as a free-swimming larva, moving all over the place. And of course, to move around effectively, you need senses. Animals have these incredible, fine-tuned systems for gathering information. Just think about an eagle's vision. It's like having built-in binoculars. Or even the simple touch-sensitive cells on a jellyfish. It's all about perceiving your environment and reacting to it. It is absolutely crucial for survival. All right, so now that we know what an animal is, let's take a look at where they all came from. And this isn't just some short story. We're talking about an epic saga that has been playing out for over 600 million years. Just look at this timeline. You can really see how life just builds and builds in complexity. It starts out small and simple, down in the oceans. Then, around 485 million years ago, bam, a revolutionary new body plan shows up. The very first fish with backbones. Not long after that, life crawls up onto land for the first time. That eventually leads to the age of the dinosaurs. And then, after a really, really bad day involving an asteroid, the mammals finally get their chance to take over. It's just a story of constant, incredible change.
But here's a pretty sobering thought that puts all of this into perspective. The animals we see around us today, they're just the lucky survivors. Evolution is a tough, brutal process. In fact, more than 90% of all species that have ever lived are just gone. Wiped out forever by changing climates, new predators, and, cosmic accidents.
So with millions of species alive right now and countless more that are extinct, how on earth do scientists even begin to keep track of it all? They needed a system, some way to bring order to all of this beautiful chaos. And this is what they came up with, this classification system. The easiest way to think about it is like a mailing address for every creature on Earth. It starts out super broad with the kingdom, that's us, Animalia, and then it gets more and more and more specific, all the way down to the genus and species, which gives each animal its own unique scientific name. Now, within that system, one of the very first, biggest splits is one that we're all actually familiar with, even if we don't know the fancy scientific terms. It's the great divide between animals with backbones and, well, everyone else. So on one side, you have the vertebrates. This is the familiar crew, right? Fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals like us. We all share an internal bony skeleton. But on the other side, you have the invertebrates, this absolutely gigantic collection of animals that are basically defined by what they don't have, a backbone. We're talking everything from insects and spiders to jellyfish and worms. So stop and think for a second. When I say the word animal, what pops into your head?
probably a dog or a lion, maybe a bird or a fish, all vertebrates. So take a guess. Out of all the animal species on planet Earth, what percentage do you think have a backbone? Are you ready for this? It's only 3%. 3! A staggering 97% of all known animal species on our planet are invertebrates. They have no backbone. Everything we usually think of as the animal kingdom, all the mammals, all the birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish, all put together, is just a tiny, tiny sliver of the real picture. It's kind of mind-blowing.
So, I think it's about time we meet the real rulers of the animal kingdom. Let's get to know this hidden majority that truly, truly dominates life on Earth.
Okay, first up, the undisputed champions of the world, the arthropods. This single group, which includes insects, spiders, crabs, you name it, makes up more than 80% of all animal species. That's not a typo. Their secret to success? That tough, versatile exoskeleton, which is like having your own custom-built suit of armor. And within that arthropod group, the insects are the true superstars. They are, by far, the most numerous class of animals on the entire planet. And they pulled off something incredible that no other invertebrate ever has. They evolved the power of flight. This was a total game changer, and it allowed them to conquer pretty much every habitat you can imagine. Next up, you've got the mollusks, and this group is just wildly diverse. I mean, it includes slow-moving garden snails and clams that don't move at all, but it also has some of the most intelligent creatures in the ocean, octopuses. These animals are absolute masters of camouflage and can solve problems in ways that rivals some mammals. Then there are the cnidarians. These are basically the masters of the sting. This group includes the beautiful but dangerous jellyfish, sea anemones, and even the tiny coral polyps that work together to build these vast, sprawling underwater cities we call coral reefs, and they all use these specialized stinging cells to catch their dinner. And finally, let's look at the echinoderms, a name that literally means spiny skin. You know these guys, starfish, sea urchins. What's so wild about them is their 5-point body plan, but also they have no blood. They use this crazy hydraulic water-powered system to move their hundreds of little tube feet. They're like little aquatic robots. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that our perception of the animal kingdom is completely skewed. It's upside down. We focus on the big, the furry, the familiar vertebrates. But they are the tiny exception, not the rule. The world isn't really run by lions and tigers and bears. When you look at the sheer numbers and diversity, it's run by beetles and spiders and worms. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. After seeing the absolute dominance of these invertebrates, from the bottom of the deepest ocean to the skies way above us, we kind of have to ask ourselves a new question. If you forget about size and you focus only on numbers, on success, on sheer variety, who really runs this planet?